We are going way down memory lane here in Middlebury.
This is the site of our first meeting. We figured out how to get out of a bathroom window and then climb up on the roof.
For a large portion of that time, Mackie lived under my bed.
That was my primary reason to go to the library, was to find somebody to distract or to get a DVD. Really pretty nice looking little spot. In the Whakariwa Forest.
It's a small tornado.
It's crossed over the California border. It is Monday, the day after the race in Vermont that Sid and her dad did. And because we are only an hour away from Middlebury, where Sid and I went to school and met, we decided that we probably ought to go back and see how Middlebury looks, try to visit some of our old haunts. Maybe we'll try to climb under the roof of a building like we used to do. I'm not sure they would like that now. That would be funny. We're not too old for that.
There are consequences now. I can just reminisce about the good old days when there were no real consequences for any of your actions. Isn't that right, Mackie?
Pretty much. Well, I lived under Sid's bed for 4 months.
At least, if not more.
Yeah.
Middlebury is a very relaxed college. They don't have to like chip in or anything for the dining halls. So after Mackie graduated, he lived with me for at least a whole semester plus a few trips and just ate every meal at the dining halls, which I don't think we'll be able to get away with today because it's language school stuff. But if it were during the fall, we would totally be going to ride the Panther some more. That's what it's called.
I point out how much you sound like a bike racer because you just said you don't have to chip in for the dining halls.
I'm going incognito. I've grown 14 inches of hair since.
Maybe more. That might probably closer to like 20 inches of hair.
No, from here to there. I had no hair. 12 to 14 inches of hair. I got these 6 shades, so hopefully no one recognizes me. Mackie looks the same.
I pretty much look the same.
He has 2 inches less of hair.
So, right over here. Yep, that was definitely it.
Super scenic location.
This super scenic location. This little spigot right here.
This is where we met.
This is the site of our first meeting. Because I was washing my bicycle at this spigot.
And I didn't know how to wash my bicycle on campus, so I had to ask Mackie.
Well, the funniest part is I was using a hose and a key to turn on the spigot from facilities. I just like walked in and was like, hey, I need to wash my bike. Can I have a key and a hose? And they're like, sure, just bring it back at the end of the season, or at the end of the semester, or the end of the year. I was like, okay. So then I was the guy who had a hose and a way to clean bicycles. And Sid thought I was cool because I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the machine that we all used to deposit checks. So you'd get your paycheck from work, and then you'd come here and you'd deposit it. This is the place that Sid was living when she and I first got together. My senior year of...
The coolest place to be living. I didn't like Hepburn.
You know what was cool about Hepburn was that we were able to climb up onto that cupola once. We figured out how to get out of a bathroom window and then climb up on the roof and go up to the thing at the top. And then we possibly set fireworks off there.
We were great students.
We were really responsible.
We are going way down memory lane here in Middlebury to the one time...
At our old alma mater.
Yeah. To the one time I tried to ride down these super gnarly rocks and I ate shit. Here, look at them. They're basically flat. We really want to get into the dorm where Mackie was living when we met. And tricky thing is Middlebury has these language schools over the summer where you can only speak the language, and this dorm is Russian school, which...
I don't speak Russian.
Yeah, neither of us speak Russian. So it's gonna be a little harder to bluff our way in than if it were like Spanish or French.
Kaale Russian. And we have to pretend to speak Russian. Ha ha ha. So we're trying to remember, but we think I was in 402. It's crazy how you forget that kind of stuff, even though it has not been that long. It's only been like 5 years, 6 years? 6 years?
6 years is a long time.
Okay, it's kind of a long. We just visited the library, which made me realize that I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the library.
Except for the DVD rack.
I pretty much went to the DVD rack because that was when you would go and get DVDs instead of just finding things online.
God,
I also would go in there to distract people like Sid from getting their work done because I was bored and didn't want to have to be bored by myself.
I didn't spend that much time working in the library either. I preferred to
I
study in bed.
distracted other people besides Sid then, I guess. But that was my primary reason to go to the library, was to find somebody to distract or to get a DVD.
So my senior year here at Middlebury, I lived in this little yellow house.
The littler one.
The smaller yellow ear. Sorry, I'm trying to move over here behind the pole. And for a
And
large
I lived
portion
in
of
that
time,
house too.
Yeah, for a large portion of that time, Mackie lived under my bed.
Because I had graduated, but I was still riding the Panther. Exciting factoid about that little house that Sid lived in.
Literally like a wasp under right now.
Speaking of wasps, was that I almost died in that house.
Because of a wasp.
Because of a wasp. And that's when I found out that I am deathly allergic and go into anaphylactic shock. But I didn't die, and here I am.
So this summer when Mackie and I met, I was living, this was
Which was
before
2010, right?
2010, yeah, before we were dating or anything. We didn't know each other that well. I was living in Frog Hollow in an apartment, and I was on the roof of the apartment because we would hang out on the roof all the time. I got this panicked phone call from Mackie, who, by the way, I didn't know that well, but he knew that I had access to my roommate's car, and he'd been out on a road ride, and he needed rescued because...
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum. He had picked up a stone with his rear tire and had reached around to try to get the stone out between the rear tire and the frame, and his hand had gotten stuck, which had locked up his rear wheel, and then he had skidded down the road and
for
crashed.
Like 100 feet and blown up my tire.
Like ripped a 3-inch hole in his tire.
It was pretty bad, but pretty hilarious.
And he needed to be rescued by me.
Sid was my...
First of many times that I've rescued
She's
him over the
rescued me
years.
over the years. She was my knight in shining armor.
Princess in shining armor.
My princess in shining vehicular armor. This right here is Bicentennial Hall, or I think technically the McCardle Bicentennial Hall. It's the science building. It's freaking gorgeous. And as a computer science major, most of my classes were here, so I spent a lot of time in this building. Do you remember when I rode my bicycle down these stairs?
Mackie was like filming a sick edit.
It was a sick edit, bro.
It
was on my
like, cool
possibly non-dropper post. Maybe I had a dropper post.
No, I don't think
Yeah, non-dropper post. No, it was full suspension. 100 mil.
XC bike.
XC bike. I rode down the stairs. I impressed a lot of people. Sid thought I was really cool.
We didn't
That's
get in
what won her
trouble
heart.
miraculously. Remember what I said earlier about consequences?
Yeah, no consequences. Classic Middlebury. Well, we had a nice visit at Middlebury. Ran into some people who we hadn't seen in, what, 6 years? 5 years? 4 years. Now we're headed back to Killington, and then tomorrow morning, early, like 5 o'clock, we have to get up and start driving back to Athens, Ohio.